Hey, this your girl, msyelladiva. I am bringing you another episode of Dexter Resurrection, Season 1, Episode 7, A Course Correction. Okay. If you are new here, welcome. Welcome, y'all. We do reviews here, y'all. We do. And if you're returning, welcome back, y'all. Come on, welcome back. Come on in. We family. We's family, okay? Give me a thumbs up. Like and share and comment and subscribe to my channel, and we will begin. Okay. So, at the last episode, they're catching a helicopter when Gemini arrives, and nobody know. I mean, Dexter realizes that Gemini was a twin. Because he did kill Gemini the previous night, okay. But then another Gemini came on the flight, so now he know that Gemini is a twin. So they go to this mansion, really nice mansion, but Charlie not happy because the mansion is outside. She was like, "We don't do stuff outside. I don't know what you talking about. We don't do outside." And Leon was like, "Listen, this my stuff. This my stuff. We ain't got nothing. I ask your opinion? Okay. If I ain't asked your opinion, you should not give it. Okay. All right. So he don't care what Charlie feeling. Okay. So and then Al asked where Lowell's at. And Leon was like, we can't get in touch with Lowell because he is burnt up. Okay. But I digress. Okay. And they did inform them that Mia committed suicide in the jail cell. hmm And so they toast to Mia with her favorite wine and things like that. Yeah, because she committed suicide in the jail cell, allegedly. All right. So Elsa says that she can't get in touch with her landlord to get this mold out of this room. So I don't know. So Harrison tells Elsa that his dad has stepped up, you know, and he's thinking about going to college. And so Elsa gives him a college that I guess her friend went to or whatever, and so he is going to look into that college. Okay. So Dexter, aka Red, said that so he got the little spread out, and so Leon was like, we got vegan options for you and things like that. And Dexter was like, listen, I'm really tired of eating vegan right now, so we just gonna eat what we want to eat. And so Prater was like, cool, because I cured all this meat myself. So he said, have at it. And that's what Dexter did. Okay. He had at it. So while he chowing down on his carnivore diet, um he receives a text message from what's that boy name? Harrison, to meet him at the college campus for a tour. And so he was like, "Yeah, cool. I can do that. Apparently it's at 4 o'clock, and he hopes that he will be out of there by 4. Okay, so um, he said, well, hopefully everything is complete with the killer camp. I said, why you call it a killer camp? Everything is okay with the killer camp. Anyway, so Leon was like, um, did you bring me something? He said, the trophies, the tools. So Al first goes up, and he got a bike cam or whatever, and so he in the park. And so it was a lady that was running with the ponytail. I mean, this long ponytail, about this long ponytail, just flying in the wind, flying in the wind. So he's bike riding, and he goes and he passes her up, and then he fall off the bike, and so she tried to help, and then he strangled her, and she is no more. And then he cuts off her ponytail. Okay, so Al is the next on his hit list after Gemini. Okay, all right. So um yeah, and so then Dexter is in the mirror, and I guess it looks like a diner room or something like that. He in the mirror trying to hype himself up with his little camera shot hoodie on, and his little thing that he cuts off with his neck. Yeah, he over here, pacing back and forth, and Harry in the mirror like, listen, I ain't like this stuff from the beginning. How you gonna, you ain't got no trophies or whatever. How you gonna manage this? So, hey, he managed it because when Dexter got up to give his trophies and his tools and his trophies, Dexter made some mess up off the fly, honey. He made something off the top of his head. He said, meet the dark passenger. Dark passenger. He said, but every time people meet the dark passenger, they die. Okay. He said, I got a mask on, and no one knows me, until I take the mask off. He made up some kind of bullshit, okay? That had Prater like on his toes. I mean, he was all intense, okay, about this bullshit that Dexter made up, okay? He was like, basically, he was like, every time people meet the dark passenger, they die. So I don't have a trophy because they die after after they meet the dark passenger. So I don't have any trophies. Okay, so like I said, the bullshit worked with Prater. Hey, that's all that mattered. Cause he really didn't have a trophy because he burned up all his trophies. Okay, he burned them up. So it is what it is. But meanwhile, Angel, I call him the ops. He over here talking to Detective Claudette, and Detective Claudette was like, he trying to point the finger at Dexter and Harrison, and but they don't have any like um any any evidence against Dexter and Harrison. And so, but Detective Claudette said, my only suspicion is that all of the other um trinkets or whatever that Mia had in her box had her prints on it except for the watch. And so Angel was like, yeah, see, that's the reason why he done planted it. Da, 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 da. But he said, well, can I see can I get to your DMV records? Okay. So back to the mansion. Okay. Back to the killer camp. Al said, I have an upset stomach. He said, does anybody have something for an upset stomach? Why Dexter thinks like killing you and dumping your body. That's the cure for the upset stomach. Dexter, stop it. Stop it. So Gemini talks to Dexter. He was like, you know, I like your share, but you didn't give any details. Prater likes the details. And so Dexter was like, well, we all can't be visionaries like you. And so Charlie comes and tells Dexter that Prater wants to talk to him. Okay. So Prater tells Dexter that his parents were killed by a drunk driver in a car. Um, drunk driver in a car, and he was in the back seat. Okay, so he wasn't killed, but his parents were killed, and so he befriended this this drunk driver. He would visit them, and he would visit him in prison, and he befriended him, and he said, and that's the first serial killer that, because apparently he has killed before. Okay, and so that was his first serial killer, and that's why he has an amazement for serial killers. And so he said, but once I got to know him and things like that, I wasn't scared anymore. I was in control. I wasn't a scared little boy anymore. And so Leon handed Dexter a letter. He said this was the first trophy that I have. Apparently, this letter is from the serial killer. So, on to Queens. Angel, the ops, finds Dexter's address, and Blessing is over there fixing his steps, and so he was just like, yes, he rents the apartment downstairs, and da da da. So Blessing, that's the ops. That's the ops. Blessing. Okay, you're not supposed to converse with the ops. Anyway, so back to the killer camp. Okay, so Dexter talks to Gemini and tells him that he informs him that he knows he has a twin, but Gemini denies it. He said, I envy you. You have somebody that has your back. And so he was telling him about his son, his brother. And so, and then he said, he asked, he said, can you, because y'all twins, can you feel what he feels and things like that? He said, because I killed your brother last night, okay? I killed your brother last night, okay? I killed your brother last night. And so now he taking it back, like, what? And so he was about to say something, and he and then Dexter was like, yes, because I'm a serial killer too, but I kill killers. And so so they get in a fight, and so Dexter stabs him in the neck with a broken bottle, and but nobody's over there, so nobody knows what's going on. They just see him fighting, and then all of a sudden, he stabs him. And so they were like, well, what happened? And Dexter was like, Gemini was trying to kill everybody. He was like, he was trying to kill Lowell, he was trying to kill Al, he was trying to kill me. And so I had to do what I had to do, basically. And Charlie doesn't believe him, because she was just like, that's not his MO. He kills in pairs. And so Charlie don't believe him. Whatever. But meanwhile, Harrison is waiting for him at the what's that called? The college. Yeah, he waiting for him at the college. So Harrison meets Gigi. Gigi is the tour guide, and so he goes on the tour by himself, and so then the tour ends in a classroom with who is in the classroom. Teaching. Detective Claudette is a forensic classroom. Yeah. Detective Claudette. Okay. So she sees Harrison, and he tried to back out, and he came back out, so he come back in. And so she was telling them about the New York Ripper or Gripper. Mm-hmm. And then Dexter finally shows up, and then Detective Claudette is taken aback again because um, he knows who Dexter is because of Angel, Angel Batista. Um, yeah, and so she was just like, oh, and so Dexter goes and sits by Harrison, and so she going over she going over the case of the New York Gripper, and so they don't know what the tool was used, but apparently, she was showing all of these pictures where these women's guts were hanging out and things like that, and but they don't know what the tool was used. But Leon has the tool that is used in that little trophy case, and it was a big old hook with a handle on it, and so Leon knows what what tools it was, okay? And Dexter knows what tool it was, but Detective Claudette don't know what tool it was. So at the end of the class, um, she talks to Dexter and Harrison, and Harrison was like, I'm thinking about becoming a police officer. And so Detective Claudette was like, like father, like son. And so Dexter was like, how you know I'm a police officer? And he was like, well, Detective Angel came and saw me. That's the reason why she know all of that. So then Dexter was like, yeah, he spiraled after his partner was the Bay Harbor butcher, and then his wife got killed in the line of duty, and so she was like, so then he was talking about he was like, I think you have the tool wrong. I don't think it's a crowbar. I think it's something with a handle, with a hook. And he said because he was a blood spatter technician more so than a cop, but he said, that blood splatter, it needs a handle. And so she was looking like, oh, okay. And so Harrison and so Dexter was like, well, so you want to become a cop. He was like, well, that's good. He said, because he said your aunt dad probably inspired you. And then Harrison was like, no, you inspired me. Hey, Aunt Deb was a good cop though. She was a very emotional cop, but she was a good cop. Um, so um, uh, Harrison meets Gigi after the court the lecture or whatever, and Harrison was like, Dad, can you meet me in the car? So I can get Gigi's phone number. Okay. Anyway, so Dexter goes to the gift shop and buys a little proud dad hat. I was just like, go ahead, Dexter. Okay. So Dexter goes home and he puts Gemini's um blood on the microscope slide, but he got both of them, both Gemini's on there. And so then he hears some loud music and stuff coming from upstairs, and then he hears Angel voice coming from upstairs, and so he go upstairs, and Angel was like, surprise, motherfucker. Okay. But he said, surprise, mijo. So yeah, so Blessing just happy to see Dexter. So then Dexter gives Angel a ride back, and Dexter was like, stay away from my family, stay away from me, stay away from anybody I care about. And so Angel was like, so you become a rideshare driver when, as a serial killer, rideshare serial killer driver. And so then Dexter was like, listen, I ain't got to take this. He stops the car and he said, I need for you to get out. Okay. And he said, but but if you think it's going to end, no, it's not going to end. And Angel leaves his AirPods in Dexter's vehicle so he can track him. Okay, so we'll see what's going to happen after this. Okay, but anyway, that was the end of the episode. Give me a thumbs up, like and share and comment and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace, y'all.